Hey, welcome to another episode of Legion Elite Motorsports. I'm your host, Isaiah. And on today's episode, we are going to complete our 500 horsepower project by redoing the exhaust because it was actually touching the ground after it was running and tested. And also installing the wideband O2 sensor so we can read that air-fuel ratio. The electronic cutout has to be ran with the wires and connected. The gauge has to be connected. The RPM gauge has to be connected. And some testing has to be done. So, let's dive in. We got a long road. Okay, so the exhaust has been completely redone so it doesn't touch the floor. The exhaust cutout is on the inside, so you'll feel it on your butt. And then I got the wideband connected right here on the exhaust right there. Plug is right here. That's going into the engine, or excuse me, the car, so we can plug in the wideband gauge. We'll check out the air fuel ratio. Almost done. A couple more things to wrap up. So I got the full center console out. We're gonna connect the exhaust cutout. We're gonna connect your two-step, which is the black wire, which is gonna be powered as soon as you push the button. Then we're gonna connect the wideband in the old position over there. And then I'll probably put the holes here in the dash so we can get the wires underneath the cluster so you can have your RPM gauge right there. Okay, so all right, we got the two-step connected to power. I found this wire had constant power, so we got it connected to here, which in turn is going to be connected to our button, which is right there. The wire's right here, and then the other wire is right here. This one goes to the module in the engine compartment. This is all going to be hidden, and then boom. So from there, that's done. So as soon as you hit the button, it'll jump on two-step, whatever it's set in the engine compartment. Then we got the exhaust cutout. So we have the plug underneath the car. I want to zip tie it just to make sure it doesn't get too loose, but it's gonna sit right there, comes all the way around here and comes out right here. And this is the box. This is the antenna. I'm gonna make sure that this sucker receives signal at all times. I'll probably see if I could hide it somewhere back here. But basically the key fob is in this compartment right here. So as you're driving or whatever, as long as the cigarette lighter is working and plugged in, your exhaust cutout will open. So boom. All right, out with the old, in with the new. Nice and tidy. Plug and play harness. Gonna put all of this together. And boom, we should be good to go. There we go. Running pretty lean. Okay, so we need to bump up some fuel there. Also, the two-step button is live, so be careful. And then the exhaust cutout. Woo! That's deep. control. She's all this is what the exhaust cut out. That's a night and day difference. Okay, so I have it connected to the computer. All right, we're gonna connect. All right, go to program. Gonna bump some fuel up. And it kicks me out. So we're gonna abort that. Abort it. Okay, so for your Starion, if you are putting in one of these aftermarket gauges and don't want to run wires all the way to the engine bay, you can actually go to the back of your cluster. Now, this car is running on a Microtech computer right down there. And basically, the output wire from the MSD goes to the original RPM signal that used to be on the negative side of the coil, which is now not allowed to be there because it's running too hot with the MSD box. So, ground to ground. This one is ignition switch positive, and then this one right here is negative ignition switch, or excuse me, negative RPM signal. So that is going to give you your signal. Let's fire it up to make sure. Alrighty, there we go. That's what the rev light is set to. There it goes. All right, so we'll wire it up and see the finished product. All right, air fuel ratio, RPM. Perfect. Adjusted the red line to 5500. Little volume knob in the back. 10,000. Right at 55. That'd be good. All right. So everything is done. She looks like a car again. We had a battle of the plastics with the center console. Very brittle, old age. But she's turnkey, she drives. I still need to get into the computer. Okay, I was able to adjust the tune so it's not so lean anymore. But it was a long process. I've been out here for an hour and a half, and I've only been able to adjust one number. So I need to figure out what I can do to log in like this and allow me to get into programming and adjust up before it kicks me out like that. So let me disconnect because it won't let me connect, and I have to do this every 15 minutes to see if I can adjust one number before it kicks me out. All right, so we got the Turbo Snuggie on there right now. Nice and clean. Good to go. Catch can. Last piece of the puzzle. Okay, so we're gonna do a catch can setup. without damaging the valve cover and welding aluminum, which is horrible. We're using a bulkhead 10AN setup. So basically it smashes whatever material you drill between these two washers. And we're going to use this piece here. Let me show you exactly where this goes. So it goes here, right? Which opens up this way. Let me hold that. Right in there. And that is crankcase pressure because it's in the timing area, which is connected to the oil pan, which is also connected to the crankcase area. So this is a good place to vent from without having excessive oil being pushed around in here. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this cover here, place it onto here, and we're gonna start putting some holes in here. First one I think will be over here because our specific vehicle does not have a AC compressor. Then the next hole will probably either be here or over here, which, let me see, yeah, it might be right here. So let's map it out and cut it out. Okay, so this is pretty much where we're at. It's looking good, and we can begin drilling these holes. So I'm gonna start with the small one, end up to the big, right about this size, and we should be good to go. Okay, so this is pretty much what she looks like. You wanna add some Loctite on the threads back here. Just from the vibrations, you don't want it to back out. So a little bit of Loctite. And yeah, pretty simple operation. No welding required. So that's what it looks like. And now we could add the last one. All right, and that is the finished product. Of course, we're gonna fix that gasket. And we're gonna test fit it to make sure she's sitting happy. Clean it up a little bit and take it from there. All right, and here she is, temporarily mounted on this guy. Mounts up perfect, no issues, no flexing, good to go. So from here, you can pretty much, you know, have that going to your catch can, and you can locate it or relocate it anywhere you want. As long as you have the lines to reach to where you're putting it, you're good to go. So yeah, that should do it. Alrighty, and through all of the chaos, this is where these two items live, right near the dipstick. Perfect, aimed up. Now all we have to do is pop on the hoses, and then we're gonna run that across the radiator area to the catch can, which is gonna be situated over there. And boom, we should be good to go. Okay, so we are going to put these up a little bit. So we're gonna wrap these up so they're not all loosey-goosey and possibly touching a belt. But both of those are connected, looking good. Catch can, fully connected, ready to party. So yep, let's finish up and yeah, we'll be good to go. All right, zip tied a lot better. Looks good. I need to find a place to mount it. I don't want to drill self-tappers in it or anything like that, but worst case, that's what it's looking like. Then we got the radiator plug underneath it, but there's plenty of room, so that's not a big deal. But yeah, got to figure out that last piece of the puzzle. The magic of dual ball bearing turbos. I cut this car off a while ago. It's still spinning. All right, and here's the finished product. All right, so we got a dual ball bearing GT30R turbo oil filter relocation kit. I relocated the power steering reservoir. We have the oil catch can from this side, which actually works out pretty good. We have the dual blow-off valves. We have the MSD with the two-step. We have the MSD blaster coil too. We got the fuel pressure regulator. We got the fuel filter. We got the intercooler piping. We have the upgraded oil cooler, upgraded intercooler, the new overflow reservoir for the radiator. We have the upgraded fans. We have a Spall pusher in the front, and then we have two pullers. We also have the wideband O2 sensor. We have the custom turbo manifold. We have the 40 millimeter wastegate V-band connected and working perfect. We get 6 pounds. You can see the wideband right there. A little blurry, but you get the idea. That's also plugged in, routed into the cabin. And we have 3-inch exhaust from turbo back. We also have an exhaust cutout. We have launch control, and we have all of this running off of the Microtech LT9C computer. All right, the last piece to the puzzle. So we're gonna put in this exhaust hanger because we took out the other one that was here. So we're gonna push this that way, put that there, weld it up, and then cut the excess off, and we should be good to go. So as you can see here, it tucks it where it's supposed to be when it's over to the driver's side. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and we should be good to go. That should be it right there. So, yep, stay tuned. Let me get this thing all situated, and we'll be good to go. Fully serviceable exhaust, 12 millimeter here. Take this section down, which ends right there, and so on and so forth. There's a V-band here, a V-band down there. Fully serviceable. All right, hang tight. Alrighty, it is all welded up. Solid as a rock, it doesn't swing anymore. So we're gonna cut this excess off. We're gonna do that for the full exhaust. We're gonna cut all of the excess pieces off, and we should be good to go. And I gotta take this old feed line off. That's no longer connected. We have 8 AN still braided line there. That's gonna be perfect for what we're doing. So yeah, almost done. There we go, some extra light. Look at that, runs like a freaking champ. Woo! How's that looking? There we go, good. All right, let's put the e-brake down. All right, tell me when you're ready for me to put the e-brake down. All righty, getting her loaded up. Runs like a top. Look at that air fuel ratio. Beautiful. Wow, and with that, we're gonna call it episode right there, but that one had a lot to unpack, especially with the RPM gauge. That was interesting. You can go from the rear like that. So if you were to replace it, you can actually use what's already there, so you don't have to run wires too far. Pretty cool. Also, the catch can setup. That was a great idea, and it worked out stupendous. And the reason we needed that is because when I took the car for a test drive, it would actually puke its guts out on the breather, on the valve cover. So I already knew there was some crankcase pressure that needed some tending to. especially because of the setup, the high compression pistons. But it's all sorted out. The car was tested, ended up going a little bit above what was supposed to go to, and ended up going around 20 something PSI. So the car is complete as far as running and driving. Still needs to be tuned, still needs to get the computer glitch fixed, and still needs to be dynoed, body work, all of that good stuff. So that's the end of me working on it. From here on out, it's going to get tuned and popped on a dyno, and I'll update you guys, and hopefully I can get some clips, show you that in a short. So yep, remember guys, knowledge is power. And with that, I'll see you next episode. And don't forget to check out the website, Instagram, TikTok, all the same name, different place. So I'll see you guys next time.